Hey everybody, Brian Johnson here, and welcome to this Friday afternoon. It is September 16th, 2022, and I've gotten a number of requests to kind of clarify my position when it comes to Amazon Experiments, the new version of Amazon Experiments that Amazon just rolled out this week that includes bullet points. Testing or A/B split testing bullet points. So I want to kind of give a rundown here of exactly as far as like how I'm going to approach it. As you have probably seen from my past videos and webinars and speaking events, I'm a big fan of Amazon Experiments and split testing because it's the only split testing platform that is available to Amazon sellers, at least that is native to Amazon. Sure, there's things as far as like Splitly and some of these other popularity contests when it comes to images, but that only gets you 10% of the way. You gotta finish the job by actually testing to see whether or not that change, whether it is an image or a title, and now bullet points or A+ content, is actually going to give you the results that you're looking for, namely conversion rate, because frankly, that's all that Amazon has given us so far when it comes to split testing our product listings is the conversion rate. I would love if they would introduce the ability to track split test when it came to sessions, as far as click-through rates, as far as number of, stay on page, amount of time stayed on page, any kind of add to cart data. But no, right now it's primarily just going to be like units sold, sales, conversion rate, right? Which is all kind of wrapped up into the same kind of bottle. But here is the path. Now that Amazon has rolled out split testing for bullet points. If you've gone through any of my past webinars or training videos or anything that talks about how I go about and increase engagement, first of all, increase visibility of a listing, then, in other words, increasing the traffic, increasing the number of eyeballs that actually see my product listing or see my ad. Second, how do I actually engage that target shopper in order to bring them into my product detail page, pull them away from the competitive set? And then third, of course, is how to actually close the sale, how to get them to purchase your product, how to make them realize that this is the product that is going to solve their pain. Now, I go into a lot of detail in my other training. On YouTube, on my past webinars, you can certainly, there's plenty of material out there already. Let me give you a quick summary of this, and then I'll tie it into how I'm using Amazon Experiments. So with, when it comes to increasing conversion rate, of course, let's start out actually, first and foremost, you have to get visibility of your product listing. The only way you're going to do that is you're going to have what catches the shopper's eye. The first is going to be the main image, whether it's mobile or desktop. The main image is by far going to be the thing that is going to attract their eye and get them to pause for a split second so that they can then consider your title. Your title is going to be the second most important. You'll see a sequence going on here. Then when you pull them into the product listing, the next thing they're going to see is either going to be most likely the bullet points, or it's going to be, now it could be the secondary images. So mobile and desktop are going to give you two different experiences. So on mobile, you're going to see the secondary images are going to be critical to this, this step, as far as really telling the shopper what's in it for them if they purchase your product, what the primary benefit is, what the supporting feature is to that benefit, hooking them in 5-second chunks. That's my rule. If it doesn't, if a secondary image, if a title, if a bullet point, if a block of text or image inside of A+ content does not get them within 5 seconds to say, oh, I want that, then it's failed to do its job, flat out, okay? Now, when you stack those together, you're going to get a pattern of a shopper saying like, "Ooh, I want that. I want that. I want that." At that point, they're convincing themselves because they see how your product is answering their needs. Now, the only way you're going to do that is you're going to have to actually know what their pain is, what their need is, so that you can then solve it in your product detail page, in your main image, in your title, in your bullet points, in your secondary images, your A+ content, in your videos that are attached to your product detail page. If you haven't taken the time to go out and interview your target audience, social media, listening in on the reviews that they left that they've left for your own product, that shoppers have left for your competitors' products, you're not going to know how to address and how to call out how your product solves the pain that they keep on talking about. So first and foremost, in order to grab the shopper's eye, that main image, that's the first thing I'm going to test inside of Amazon Experiments. I'm going to do a split test. I always do a 4-week split test, and I don't stop. I run 4 weeks, then 4 weeks, then 4 weeks, then 4 weeks, then 4 weeks. As long as I have a qualifying product, which is 1,000 sessions a month or more, I'm going to continue to run Amazon Experiments A/B split testing, and I'm going to start out where the first couple is going to be on the main image, because that's where I'm going to go for my kind of the low-hanging fruit. How do I increase my conversion rate, but also how do I increase my sessions? Now, is Amazon Experiments going to tell you the difference of what one main image versus another main image is going to increase your sessions? No, but you can observe. It's like, hey, you know what? I noticed, anecdotally, I noticed there was a bump in the number of sessions. I increased my traffic to my listing, which was my goal. I need to pull them away from the competition first and foremost, grab their attention, stand apart from the competition. So I'm going to run 2 experiments, 4 weeks long, split testing, A and B, split testing. Now, you can have the second image be something that you used on one of these image popularity contests, like a Splitly or some of the other ones where you're saying like, hey, which image do you like the best? That's fine. But those are not split testing platforms. Those are simply just, hey, popularity polls, right? And you can use that secondary image. You can certainly go through and use some of the pointers that I make in order to stand out from your competition, whether it is a pop in color, whether it is a change in direction of the way your product is facing, whether or not you're going from a flat face to something that has some depth to it. These are all things that you can do in order to stand out from your competition. That's assuming that the next image that you're testing actually is different and grabs the attention of the shopper, grabs the shopper's eye, and because it stands out because it's so much different than your competitors. Now, once you run 2 of those 4-week experiments, so in other words, you're going to run your existing image against your next image, and you can choose to say, okay, Amazon, if you decide at the end that I'm getting a higher conversion rate on image 2, or on image B, I should say, on image B, then go ahead and implement image B. Cool, that's fine. But then don't forget, start another experiment to run right behind that is going to now test that next image, or whichever image won out of that first test, you're going to now test it against another one, against a third image, okay? Ideally, you want to continue to do this, for 6 months straight, but I understand that there's only so many things that you can do concurrently with Amazon Experiments. It's got some limitations. So run 2 experiments for each of these. Run 2 experiments for your main image, and then switch over and then do 2 experiments on your title. Your title is going to be the second thing that a shopper considers when they are looking to Roa says there's no video. Interesting. Does anybody else not see a video? It's broadcasting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but you can hear me, so that's what's gonna help. So okay, cool. Yeah, you can see me. Awesome. Thank you. I just got thrown off by that comment. So the second thing, of course, is once a shopper sees your main image, pulls you away from some of the competition, they're now going to look at your title. Now remember, if you look at, say, the mobile title, you look at most of the title length that is actually shown, it's only about 75 characters. So you've got to make sure that within those first 75 characters of your full title, you can have a full title using all the characters you want, but in the first 75 characters, you've got to have something that is compelling to the shopper. Now, you're probably going to be compelled in order to include your main number 1 search term that you want to be ranked for, that because you've already tested it, you've already vetted it, that your product can actually rank for that that search term, not only because you've got monster sales on it so far, that you're climbing up the organic ranking chart already, and that it is directly relevant to your product. You've got a high conversion rate on that search term. That's probably a good candidate to be having in your title. You probably want to fit that into your first 75 characters, but you also want to see if you can fit in a few more words, including what is some kind of a unique hook. In other words, a benefit or a feature that is going to create curiosity with that shopper, that's going to pull them into your product listing. With the gas them, essentially, they're going to want to know more. They're going to come to your product listing. So I'll run A/B split testing experiments in Amazon Experiments in the new version so that I can test title A against title B, same way that I did the main image. I'm going to do title A, title B, and I'm going to test my original title that I have now against what I have as far as some kind of a compelling hook in that first 75 characters. Of course, I'm not breaking the rule, or I'm no longer breaking the rule of keyword stuffing my title, because I know that that doesn't work, right? We've heard that too many times now. We've tested it too many times. We already know that stuffing your keyword, stuffing keywords into your title to try to draw the attention of Amazon no longer works. Hasn't worked for 2 years, so stop doing it. But you're going to run your first experiment 4 weeks long in Amazon Experiments. You're going to A/B split test the original title with the new title, and then the same way we did with the images, you're going to run a in other words, a second round of tests 4 weeks long in Amazon Experiments that is going to test whatever title won that first match. You're going to now pit it against a new one. Try subtle variations if you can. Now, your first test, your first experiment probably is going to be a pretty monster change. And it's okay to be bold, because we're only doing 2 experiments on the main image. We're going to then follow by 2 experiments on the title, right? That's 4 months you're testing already, right? Next, now you can add in the new feature of running A/B split testing on your bullet points. Now, you can because you've got multiple bullet points, you've got multiple chances of having, in other words, you can kind of confuse it a little bit. But ultimately, what I'm trying to do the first round is I'm simply trying to go in and see, can I make much of a difference? Can I get a 0.1% increase in my conversion rate? Can I get so fortunate that I made such a monumental change that I've got a 1%? I recently had one where it had a 12. Let me not exaggerate here. There's a 12% increase in conversion rate. Literally like 12 numbers, like literally going from 3% up to 15% conversion rate simply by changing my main image. It was apparently, it was that bad, right? It was that out of context, or it blended in so much with my competitors that it just didn't pull in the conversion rate. So 2 experiments on main image, 2 experiments on your title, then run another 2 experiments on bullet points. Again, take your existing bullet points, compare them against other bullet points that follow that 5-second rule, or if I should say 5-second rule, that in 5 seconds, the shopper should be able to say, I want that. I understand what's in it for me, and I want that within the first 5 seconds. That means you're only talking about maybe 5 to 8, maybe 5 to 10 words at the front of your bullet points that is going to be compelling to them. That's going to make your product stand out from the competition. It's going to point out some unique benefit, maybe a unique feature that either nobody has, or more commonly, that nobody else has bothered to point out that is in fact is a feature or is a benefit to that shopper. Make sure that you're at least testing your first 3 bullet points, because that by default is usually what comes up in the mobile platform. After I've already done 2 experiments on the main image, 2 experiments on the title, 2 experiments on bullet points, now I'm going to switch over and I'm going to do 2 experiments on the A+ content. And then when I'm all done and I've accumulated how many, sometimes I'm not going to have any change, any real difference as far as the conversion rate. Sometimes I'm going to have some big jumps. But the point of continuing to do this across the entire year is that the cumulative amount of gains that you get from running these different split testing, Amazon experiment, split testing conversion, image and your title on your bullet points now, and then on your A+ content, it's going to increase the conversion rate of your product so that you get more sales, you get more unit velocity for keyword ranking, you're going to get more profitability so you can be more aggressive with your advertising, you're likely going to pick up more market share because of your increased sales. Ultimately, because you've simply set things up, you've taken 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, if you really are being really precise with it, every month in order to run an experiment, then you will probably have a huge advantage a year from now. Likely, not even likely, it's like we see it again and again. You will have a huge advantage against each of your competitors a year from now. Now, imagine if you kept on doing that when everybody else is not doing anything. They're just like going, oh, there's an experiment. Oh, I went out and I used Splitly, and that must have been enough. No. Do the experiments. Run your managed experiments through Amazon Experiments. Like I said, to wrap this up, 2 experiments, 4 weeks long each on the main image to catch the shopper's attention. 2 experiments, 4 weeks each on the product title in order to hook the shopper's curiosity so they come in and visit your product detail page. 2 experiments on the first 3 bullet points that you have in your product detail page in order to get them to say, yes, I want that, I want that, I want that. 5-second rule. What's in it for me within 5 seconds? I understand it. I want that. Cool. I'm going to buy. And then wrap it up with another 2 experiments. Again, another 4 weeks each on A+ content, just to kind of round out your experiments, and then start over again. Go back to your main image. Keep on with that cycle. Right there, you've done 8 months of testing. Do another 8 months and another 8 months, another 8 months. You can run, if you've got separate products that are standalone, you can run independent tests there. You can't usually combine them, but you can run them on different products concurrently. And it is a great way of increasing your conversion rate, getting ahead of your competition, increasing your profitability, which is going to give you a lot of benefit across a lot of your other efforts, PPC, ranking, market share, just general advantage that you have across your competitive niche. So I hope that helps. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that Amazon released that this week. They did announce it among a bunch of other things that I thought were kind of watered down from the Amazon Live event up in Seattle. But this is the one that absolutely stood out to me, and that I've got my team and myself, we're implementing this right, left, and center to make sure that we're running those split tests on the bullet points in order to continue to gain the advantage within our product niches. So my name is Brian Johnson with Canopy Management over here. There we go. Glad that you spent time with me today, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.